What's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be talking about the Sena Prism Bluetooth action camera. This is something I just bought recently because I wanted to have something besides the 10C, and of course looking at the various choices that are available. There are obviously a lot of pros and cons. Now, the Sena has produced two versions of their action camera, one of which is the Sena Prism Bluetooth action camera, really a very long title, and the other one is called the Tube, the Prism Tube, for obvious reasons. The Prism Bluetooth action camera, obviously its main feature is the Bluetooth connectivity, and the other ones basically comes with an integrated external mic and one headset or one earpiece. Basically the Tube looks like a mini flashlight and does not connect to any headset, unlike the Prism Bluetooth action camera. So I'll be talking about mainly about the Prism Bluetooth camera as opposed to the Tube. Now, there are many reasons why I chose the Bluetooth action camera, because one, unlike the other cameras that exist, it will mean that if I was to have, or to be able to do narration over the video, it will mean that I would have to have a microphone attached. I would have to have various other attachments to it, on top of the various connections that I have with my communicator, which is here. So having the Bluetooth option would mean that it's just a standalone camera like this, and that it is connected to my headset, which at the present moment is the 20S Evo. Now, the good thing about the Sena Prism Bluetooth action camera is that it's not brand specific, meaning that it could connect to any headset besides the various Sena headsets as well. And of course, the good thing about connecting to Sena headset would be the noise cancelling ability that it has, and I think it's far more superior than most, I think. And you know, Sena and Scala and a few others are the gold standards in communicators, and would probably bring down the wind noise as much as possible. Now, today is not going to be an unboxing. It's not really going to be a review of sorts. It's going to be my impressions of the Sena Prism Bluetooth action camera, just like any of my impressions that I do. It will be my thoughts and why I chose this over, say, a GoPro or any other action camera out there. Obviously, we know that the GoPro is the gold standard for action cameras. I mean, in terms of output, video recording, resolution, quality, the fact that you don't have to put it into a housing, but that's not saying that this is not waterproof. It is. I think it's rated at about 1 meter underwater without its casing. But again, I chose this because it suited my what I wanted to do, and it suited my situation where I don't have to have too many wires running through the camera, and I didn't have to think about the right microphone and so forth for it. So even though I'm not doing an unboxing as well, because I think there's a lot of people who've done it. I mean, this product has been around since I think 2015. So there's various other videos out there that talks about the unboxing, but I will talk about the contents and of the Sena Prism Sena Prism Bluetooth action camera, and why I think it's value for money. Now, when you remove the contents from the box, the first thing you see is at the top portion is obviously the camera itself. It has a waterproof housing should you decide that you want to go diving as well with it. And it comes with another rectangular box, and it's marked mounting kit. Now in that mounting kit, as in the name states, are all the various mounting options available for you for the helmet, right? So you have the standard GoPro type helmet mounts, sticky mounts. You also have the clamps, a sort of various attachments to the clamps or to the sticky mounts that you can choose from. One of which was the standard GoPro type screw, which allows you then just the horizontal positioning of the camera to a certain degree. And then you have the ball mount, which is what I have mounted here on my helmet, on the clamp mount. That gives you a little bit more flexibility in positioning, as you can see, right? It's you can have both horizontal and vertical positioning. You can have more, hopefully, accurate positioning of the camera, so that you have a better angle and coverage and so forth. Now, once you remove the top portion, underneath are the other various mounting options, right? So you have the handlebar mount and the surface mounts. You've got all the various attachments to it, and I think the most interesting thing about it is, I mean, I'm not saying that GoPro doesn't have it as well, but they have a better configuration of it, which is a suction cup. So you have a single mount suction cup, and you have a dual mount suction cup. It'll be a little bit hard to explain what it looks like and how it looks like when it's mounted. I'll try and put up some videos. I'll try and put up some pictures up there in the video to be able to show you what it looks like. It gives you a little bit more flexibility, I think, in the form of mounting, and you get various better angles. And I think if you have several prisms, it will mean that you can cover all angles of your ride. You can cover just about anything, any place, anywhere on the bike. And I think it's quite interesting. So with all the various mounts that's gone in, I think, and I thought, the fact that, you know, Sena is basically a company that creates or produces appliances or gadgets for the motorcycle. obviously everything is more motorcycle friendly. Or at least thought of for the motorcycle. Now obviously this is not the first time I'm recording on this Prism, simply because I needed to test, check the angles, and so forth before I even produce this, and honestly this is the third attempt, because the first attempt was I didn't get the settings right. So what happened was that I had a lot of wind noise from the microphone in the camera itself. So then all I'm getting is, in a situation like this, you know, that you're riding on a highway and all the wind is just getting into the camera, which is completely unusable altogether. Now, I'll talk about the settings in a minute. So the second time, foolish of me, even though I got the setting right, I used my Bell Custom 500, which is an open face helmet, and even though I put on the visor, there was significant wind noise, especially in the highway, and no amount of editing could save it. So I think the best situation always is in a vlog, to be able to use a full face helmet like this. In this case I'm using my AGV AX8, which, as you can see, it's more an adventure style. It's got a lot of intake, and hopefully all this doesn't translate to wind noise and is able to be compensated by the microphone. Now, talking about pairing and settings, pairing to the Sena Bluetooth camera is pretty straightforward. You can just cycle through the menu and then pair it to your various devices. Again, the one thing that I really like about Sena is that they have heaps of videos out there on their YouTube channel that actually shows you, number one, how to mount the camera, how to pair the camera to your various devices, and of course it even shows you how to pair it to a non-Sena Bluetooth headset, which is great, right? Not everybody's going to buy into your product, but the fact that they bought one, you know, doesn't exclude them from the rest, and you cannot exclude all the other brands. I think it's very professional of them to include everybody else, and they do that for everything anyway, you know. For all of their products, they always take into account the various brands and so forth. Settings, whether it's in the manual or on the YouTube video, Sena, in their settings for the camera, will always recommend that your internal microphone be put on, gain set at high, auto mute on, Ultra HD on. Those are the default settings. But here's the thing: if you put on your microphone, your internal microphone, meaning the microphone inbuilt into the camera, even though you have the auto mute on, if you're not talking, it mutes your connection to the headset, but it doesn't mute the external camera. So what's happening is that you're getting all this wind noise and all these truck noises and everything else, and it makes the video again unusable. Since I mentioned earlier that I did actually record, and this is not the first try at it, I must say that the output of the video, the quality, I think it's pretty good. I'm sure at 60 frames per second, the quality will be better. But 1080, 30 frames per second, a little magic on the computer, and I'm sure that it will look. It actually did look good. You know, it came out pretty well. Clarity. The colors were not washed out, even in bright sunlight like this, and even in low light situations, under the shade or under clouds, it turned out pretty well. Audio quality, again, you can't fault Sena, right? Their products are very good, and I thought that without the wind noise, or at least lower ambient noises, the voice quality came out pretty well. You know, it sounded clear, crisp, not too high. I didn't have to EQ it too much, and it was pretty good, right? Because here you're depending on, you see, if you were to get a third-party mic to attach to your action camera, you would have to get the right one, be able to then put a wind protector over it and so forth, and then hopefully it produces what you need to produce. But here, because it's connected to the headset, and primarily, you know, when Sena created these headsets, and over the years to its latest version, which is this one, right, the 20S Evo, it's come a long way, because ultimately, what's the main purpose of a communicator? Clarity, right? We're talking about being able to speak clearly, to be able to hear your comrades or your fellow riders clearly. And so, and of course it has the noise cancelling technology. So all that coupled together in a Bluetooth package, which you output to the camera, I think it is a good combination. Now going back again to why I chose this, as I mentioned before, I'm trying to well, I'm a practical person, so ultimately anything that I choose has to be of a practical purpose. So one of my requirements is that I'm not going to stick too many things into the helmet. You know, you've already got a couple of headphones or headsets wired into the helmet already. Then you also have the boom mic or what have you, the microphone. And then if you have a Bluetooth, if you have another action camera where you have to stick another mic inside, you know, it just too many connections for it to foul up and stuff like that. And again, I don't want to have too many things sticking inside. So having a Bluetooth camera would just mean that I rely on my current setup and output to the camera. I think that's a really very practical thing. The other thing is the form factor. The Prism Bluetooth action camera, as you can see from the side here, it has a very small form factor, right? It doesn't stick out. Now, a lot of people say, hey, you know, you can mount the GoPro in the front, which would then eliminate the need, the thing to have it sticking out of the camera on the side. But, you know, again, I'm a very practical person. the helmet is not just for my daily ride, but I also use it for long distance riding. And what is the requirement for that? Ventilation, right? So if I was to stick a camera in the front, I have my vent here, and I'll have my ventilation blocked off. And the camera will obstruct that. I'm not sure, maybe if you guys can leave a comment below and tell me your experiences. I've done it once on my other helmet, and literally it was blocking the vent of my helmet. And you know, if this is your main point of ventilation besides under the chin, right, and you of course got a couple of ventilators up there, but that's just for you over the head, right? And because it's a GoPro mount, you're mounting in the front. Even you take the camera off, it's still there. I'm not sure how much it obstructs the ventilation of the helmet. It kind of defeats the purpose, I think, right? So to me, sticking it in front is not really an option. Plus the fact that I find it distracting. But again, all this is me, right? I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't do it. In fact, to me, mounting it in front and looking at the other vloggers out there, the point of view that you have is actually really good, right? Unobstructed. Because if you were to look at my footage, you would see that you actually have a side view of my helmet, and it's not an unobstructed view, but you know, at least I get the view of the forward portion of the road and so forth, and in a sense my point of view as well, right? Again, this is my choice. Like I said, being a practical person, that's about the best option available. Or that would be the option that I chose invariably. So what do I think of the Sena Bluetooth action camera? I think it's value for money for its package contents. I think it suits the purpose if your requirements are to not have too many wires sticking into your camera, into your helmet. You want a low form factor, you want ease of use in terms of Bluetooth connectivity, then I think the Sena Bluetooth Prism action camera is the one to go for. Output is decent, 1080, 30 frames per second, you know, but let's admit that most of us will be uploading to YouTube anyway. I was told by a colleague that they have a 4K site, but you know, switching between 4K site and the regular YouTube site is a bit much for you to demand of your subscribers, right? So that being said, I do hope that you enjoyed this video. Please do put your comments below, and of course give a like to this video, and most importantly, don't forget to click the button below to subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great day.